Hey, this is Phil from Race City Retro, and this is my new 55 Chevy project car, and today is the day. Very excited to get started tearing this thing down, but just like any project car, before you start to break a car into a million pieces and a million piles and a million bags, you better have a plan. There's an old saying, fail to plan, plan to fail. You'll see a lot of project cars out there that are just, people give up on them. They buy some parts, they break it all down, they realize, hey man, got way too far. Think about what you're going to do with the car. Think about what the end result is you're going to want with the car. I mean, if you're going to do a frame off restoration in a 2-car garage, bad idea. Yeah, it can be done. It has been done. Guys will do it, but man, you need a lot of space to pull off a project of that extent. With this car, basically what I want to do is just make this car safe and reliable and make it look good. And by good, I don't mean trailer queen show car. I mean just decent, quick, cheap paint job, good set of wheels. I want it to run good, be safe, be reliable, stop good, take me where I want to go with the car. Today, we're going to take the nose off this car. And the reason I'm going to take the nose off this car is because there's a lot of work that's going to be done on the front of this car. Makes your life a lot easier with the nose off the car, and very simple to take the nose off this car. It's about 6 bolts that hold the whole thing on. The reason we're going to do that is because I plan to do upper and lower control arms on this car, tie rod ends, inner outer, center link. I'm going to put a power steering box in the car. I'm going to change the steering column on this car. I have wiring to do under the hood. I have disc brakes to put into this car. I have brake lines to run. If this sheet metal is out of the way, boy, it makes your life a heck of a lot easier. And when I say plan, these are the things you got to think about. You got to think about what are the next upcoming steps I need to do with this car. And there's other reasons too, besides access to everything in the engine compartment. These fenders, I have trim holes to fill on them. I want to paint the inside of them quick too, to stop any future rust. Just, put some type of good preventative paint on them. If you have the fender off where you got it on a pair of sawhorses and you need to weld on it or whatever, it makes it a heck of a lot easier than on the car. The hood, this hood scoop, it's not on there yet. This is a rare piece. We're going to talk about that in a little bit also, but I need to install that. I need to get all the dents out of this hood. Looks like somebody jumped up and down on it. And we're going to go through that step by step, how to do that. I'm going to teach you how to do things very simple with very simple tools. This is not, one of those $1 million shops where we're going to take 10 years to build this car. This car is going to be done within months. So be sure to subscribe, come along with the ride. I thank you for being here today, and hit the bell for updates. Make sure you like it. I appreciate all your comments, but be respectful. I never feel it's too late to learn new things. If I'm doing something that you think I could be doing differently, yeah, mention it. Hey, I'm all for that. You don't have to. I'm not one of those guys where, no, I'm an expert. You don't need to tell me that. No, I would love the feedback from you guys. If you like something, tell me you like it. If you think I should do something differently, let me know. Hey, maybe I'm going to learn something new that day. But if you haven't done one of these cars before and you're thinking about it, whether it be a 2-door, 4-door, they basically come apart the same. And we'll go through everything on this car, take it apart step by step, and I'm going to show you in detail just how easy it is to work on these cars. Taking a front end off a 55 or 56 Chevy is incredibly easy. Well, if it's never been off the car, yes, you may have some issues with rusty bolts and stuff of that nature, but basically what holds these front ends on is like 6 bolts. There's some nuts up here, which I'm going to show you as we go. A bolt in the bottom. There's 2 bolts that hold the radiator support to the chassis, and everything pretty much lifts off. You're going to need 2 guys, 2 strong guys like me. Maybe 3 wimpy guys can lift this thing right off. Make sure the bumper is off the car first. And if you're taking a 55 Chevy bumper off, take it off from the frame. There's bolts that go into the side of the frame. Don't take it off from the bumper, because then you're going to have the bumper brackets sticking out. And I guarantee you, every time you walk by, you will bang your leg into one of those. We're going to pull this off piece by piece. We're going to take the hood off the car, I'm going to take each fender off the car, the radiator support out of the car. I'm going to show you how to do each and every one. The only thing that's different is a 57 is a little different. 57, they changed to a smooth cowl. They did away with the vents in the cowl. So they needed somewhere to pull fresh air into the car for the heat, for the defrost. If you look above the headlights on a 57 Chevy, you're going to see some mesh material right here. And what that is that pushes cool air in to these tubes that go into the firewall where the heater box will pick up on the cold air. 55, 56 don't have those. The fenders are pretty empty, pretty simple. They do have an inner fender. Some guys leave the inner fenders out, which I'll probably do with this car. It looks real cool when you see the motor poking through the front wheel. Makes it run a little cooler. If you're not driving the car in torrential downpours or winter time, it's not such a big deal. That's up to you. This is your car. You build it the way you want to build it. Don't let other people tell you how to build your car. Okay, I've got the hood up, and let's familiarize ourselves with the hardware that we're looking for under here to get the front end off this car. All Tri-5s, like I said earlier, are basically the same, except for the 57, you have those air tubes that go into the firewall. The back piece is your firewall. This is your radiator support. Support your radiator. Hood hinges have nothing to do with the fenders. The hood hinges are bolted separately to the firewall. So technically, you could take the nose off this car and you can leave the hood on the car. You could take the nose off in one solid piece if you want to. We're not going to do that. We're going to break it apart today because I need access to these fenders separately off the car. So this way I'll show you how that's done. Now, as far as the fender bolts, what holds the fenders to the car, in the back, you're going to have a upper bolt. That's it right there. And you're going to have a lower bolt, which is right behind the bottom of the fender, pointing towards you. You're going to have to crawl under the car, find that, spray it with some penetrating oil, because unless it's been off the car recently, it's going to be rusty, all that splash of water all throughout the years. When you take these two bolts out, if you're happy with your fender alignment, where you feel the fender's sitting in a good spot, when you take these out, you're going to see a stack of body shims. That's what these are. When this car was put together when it was new, if this nose has never been off it, it's probably got the original body shims behind this bolt and behind the lower bolt. You want to save these, take them out exactly the way they were, and tape them together and mark them. Driver's side top, driver's side bottom. These come in different thicknesses. And what you use these for is to set the height of the fender. Basically, it's a washer with a slot cut in it, and you stack different thicknesses to achieve whatever height you need under the fender to raise the fender. If you want it lower, remove body shims. It drops the fender so that you have a nice transition from the door to the fender. So when I pull this, there should be some shims stacked under there. I'm going to mark those with some blue tape, driver's side top, same thing with the bottom. Generally, they'll just fall out the minute you take the bolt out. But the first thing I'm going to do is remove the radiator. With these cars, depending on what they came with from the factory, if it was a factory V8 car, which this car is, or if it was a factory 6-cylinder car, the radiators were either mounted behind the radiator support for the V8 cars or in front of the radiator support right here for the 6-cylinder cars, because you had the extra length of the 6-cylinder engine. They couldn't fit a fan and a pulley, so they had to move the radiator to here. Radiators are simple. You have a drain on the bottom. Some guys call it a petcock drain. Sometimes they spin to the left to open. Sometimes they spin backwards to open. Jiggle it easy. Don't break the thing off, because you got to remember it probably hasn't been opened in a long time. And then you have some side bolts. Let's get down in there. See those 3 bolts along the side? Those are going to be on each side of the shroud. And you have your upper hose naturally and your lower hose. And guys, I can't stress this enough. When you take the antifreeze out of this radiator, put it in a storage bottle or something right away. Don't leave it on the ground in a pan or a bucket where your dog could come in, your cat can come in. Antifreeze is toxic. Animals go right to it because they like that sweet smell. If they drink it, they'll die. So please put it in a bucket. I'm sorry, get it out of the bucket. Put it in a bottle with a cap on it right away. Don't leave it under the car and say, oh, I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. Just for safety's sake. You know, work smart. Protect your animals. All right, guys, so let's get started with taking this radiator out of the 55 Chevy. Before you get started, always protect your hands. Put some gloves on. Get yourself a box of gloves. Keep them in your work area. Get the black ones. They're much cooler. The blue ones don't do it for me. You always want to look cooler than you actually are. Chicks dig the black gloves. See what I'm saying? Looks good, right? Okay. Now, I got myself some PB Blast. We're going to spray the drain with that because it probably hasn't been opened in a while and you don't want to break it off. Also got myself magnetic tray to put my hardware in, so it's all right there. These you can get for a couple bucks, Harbor Freight, or anywhere. Everybody sells them now. Pair of pliers. And this is my socket cart. I keep all my sockets on a cart. Sockets, ratchets, extensions, so you can bring it close to the car. It's real nice when your tools are right next to the car. You're not running back and forth to your toolbox. Keeps everything there, makes everything go quicker. Also got my drain pan already under the car. Like I said earlier, don't forget about the antifreeze. Please, the minute the job's done and you're doing your cleanup, dump your antifreeze in a bottle with a cap. Empty antifreeze bottle, empty washer fluid bottle, and just this way you can recycle it, get rid of it properly. Okay, let's get started by draining this radiator. Okay, so there's the radiator drain on this V8 car. It's located on the front of the radiator. I'm gonna give it a little blitz of PB Blast, let that soak in a couple seconds. And sometimes you'll turn these things, they'll already be loose. A lot of guys don't tighten them like crazy. Sometimes you turn them to the right. This needs to go in to start letting the antifreeze out. Actually, that one was kind of loose. And you can see it's hitting the brace on the bottom. It is moving. No, actually, this one is a lefty. It's coming out. We don't want it coming out because coming out closes it. See how the pieces are moving in towards the radiator? Oh yeah, should be seeing that green gold soon. Is there any antifreeze in this thing? Man, what the? Well, when you get that happening, one of two things. It's either clogged or there's no antifreeze in it. Let's have a look. This will also help get it out. No, there's antifreeze in it. I see the green. Yeah, should be pouring out of there. So we've got a clogged petcock. So a couple things we can do. We could either take it out with a wrench and then it's gonna, or we could just try and fish something in it. Okay, so I got myself a little pointy awl type tool. Oh, look at that, see? Just like I said, probably a chunk of rust or something in there. It's coming down into the drain pan, catching it, nice green antifreeze. That's a good sign. You know, brown water or rust coming out of it. All right, so I'm gonna spare you the sound effects on this. We'll let this thing drain and then we'll get started on the bolts up top. Getting this thing loose, getting the radiator hoses off it next. Then I'm gonna take this radiator out of this 55 Chevy. Oh yeah, actually I might just take a bathroom break. Be back in a minute. I don't know, it's all of a sudden. Okay, she's still draining, and while she's draining, you can see on the side, those are the bolts we're gonna take out. There's one missing in the middle, so there's two on that side. And there's 1, 2, 3 on that side. So let's tap these with a little PB. Let that start soaking in. PB will go from back to front also. You don't have to hit the front of the bolt. It actually works better this way if you have access to the back of the bolt. Once this baby finishes draining, you can see it's working good there. GM put that hole in the right spot. Then we're going to pull the radiator hoses next. All right, so she's still draining, as you can hear. It takes a while. We're going to take the top hose off first. And I just like to use, I don't use screwdrivers because most all these hose clamps are a 5/16. It's just a little quicker and easier. And we're going to be replacing these hoses. But here's a little pro tip. Make it a habit. Don't throw out your old parts until the new parts are on the car. And reason being, a lot of guys will take this hose off and go, I don't need that no more, it's junk. Yeah, I know it's junk, but if you have to match it up or you can't find its replacement, all right, hold on, let me get a blade. We're gonna cut that because it's what'll happen with these hoses over time. You remember this car's been sitting since 1971. They'll just glue themselves to the radiator. One second, let me get a razor blade. And I'm back. Okay, be careful doing this too. Don't cut yourself. Just make one line generally. And once you make the one line, it'll open up. See? And when it opens up, it loosens up and it unsticks itself. All right, so there's your top one. Let's do this bottom one. Oh, look at that. Got oil-filled tube, old style engine. Look at that. May get a little drop or two. Whoa, look at that. Try and keep that out of the cooling system. See the way I turn that? Not too bad in there. It's got a thermostat in it, which will catch this goop. I'm going to change that over. And let's put this right back on so nothing falls in the motor. All right. Let's do the bottom one now. Okay, now that we got the top hose off, let's attack that bottom hose. Now you got to remember, there's still antifreeze in the engine block, so even though we've drained the radiator, you're probably going to get a little splash or a little mess, so just leave your pan under there until the job is done. For this one, I put on a little extension to grab these. Nice. And whoever put these clamps on last in 1971, thank you for good clamp etiquette. Good clamp etiquette is when you line the screw up for the next guy. You don't put it in a weird spot. You don't put it where he can't get at it. This guy put him perfect. Make my life nice and easy today. Good clamp etiquette. Look at that, man. That's textbook, good clamp etiquette. All right, let's get those off. Okay. And let me tell you something about these clamps that I'm taking off. Okay, so you got to figure, these clamps were put on this car in the 70s. Back when America made great stuff. If you look at these are Breeze. I don't know if that's going to focus. Made in the USA. You could clean these clamps up and use them over and over and over and they'll never fail you. Not like the new clamps today, which are junk. All right, what do you think? We're gonna have to cut? Well, oh, not really. She's looking good. Oh man, there she goes, like I told you. There's gonna be more in there, but it's catching it. And man, this looks like almost like a, that's an oldie of a hose. It's Goodyear, 6197. And see, like I said, save this hose, because if you can't find this hose and you got to go to the auto parts store and match it to an existing hose that you'll cut down, it's great to have this with you. Once you have the new hose on the car, then you can throw this junk out. But for now, save it. All right, next, we're going to start taking these bolts out. I'll start on this side. Let's just, and we'll zap. I got 3 on each side. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 and 2. Somebody forgot to put one in. Looks like a 1/2 inch. Let's see if I'm right. When you're taking bolts off a car that's been sitting for a long time, don't blast them right from the get-go. Try and break them free. See? Because that's how you break bolts, you break the nut certs. There we go. Now watch how easy. And don't forget, we sprayed these from the back with our PB Blast. So, makes everything come out easy. I love PB Blast. Love it. Nothing better. And it tastes great on salad. No, I'm only kidding you. All right, so we got 3 more on the other side. Move my PB Blast. I got 2. And okay, now, because this is a man's car, it's a 4-speed. If this was a girl's car, it would have 2 automatic transmission lines that you'd also have to undo on the bottom of the radiator. But like I said, this is a man's car. So we're gonna lift the radiator right out. Let's put these bolts up here. And if you were reusing this, be careful. See how close the fan is to this thing? Don't crush it. Don't damage it. Even if you're not reusing it, used parts have value. If I'm gonna put a new aluminum in this car, which I am, then maybe a guy doing a resto or a guy who don't have the money for the aluminum, that'll gladly give you $100 for this thing, because we know it doesn't leak. We know it's nice and clean. We know it's a V8 one. So it's definitely going to be desirable to someone. Whoop. And there it goes. Now just watch the bottom, because it's going to have more antifreeze in it. Get your drain pan handy. Let's rest that there for now. All right, so I pull my drain pan out from the bottom of the car. Pretty full. Leave your radiator on a back leaning angle. Take it over to the drain pan. And there's the rest. See, so now you know it's empty. You can put it somewhere for storage. And like I said, it's got value to someone. You know it's good. It didn't leak. Put that right there for now. And that we're going to put in a bottle immediately, because I don't want any animals getting near it. All right, so there you go. I put my used antifreeze in a couple jars that I had, bottles I should say, and I mark them, because if you see that one, it says windshield washer fluid, it's green, just like the Bug windshield washer fluid. I'll end up dumping that thing in my truck if I don't mark it and go, hey, why are my windows so slimy when I wash them? Cleaned out the pan, cleaned up the floor with some simple green, and then even under the front to catch some drops, I put a pig mat. There you go. This way it's nice and clean and safe. Work clean in your shop. Don't be a slob, man. Have pride in your shop. Hate when you see a messy shop. I don't care if you're working at a storage unit, 1-car garage, 10-car garage. Clean up your mess, clean up your tools. Just makes it a lot easier to get the job done. All right, let's see what we got here. Radiator's out now. I'm going to take that fan off next, because those things are deadly. They're like razor blades, and I don't want to get cut. I'm not going to use it. It's from the 70s. I don't want to get cut as I'm working on other stuff. So I'm going to zip that off next, just to zip it off. Get it out of the way. All right, so let's get this fan off quick. Before you're going to do this, man, glove up with some real gloves, because like I said, these blades are like razor blades on these old fans. That's probably why they stopped making them. Oi, let's give it a little shot. There we go. Let that sit a sec. Hold it carefully. Break these loose if you can. Oh, that one's tight. There we go. Break them loose. Whoa. I think I got that one. Let's go down instead of up. Always use leverage to help you. Okay. Man. Long bolts. Probably going to change the water pump on this engine anyway. Car's been sitting a long time. You know, you got to think about things like that when you're doing your project. You got it apart. You're looking right at the water pump. It's 4 bolts. Do it now instead of on the side of the road somewhere. They're like, what, 30, 40 bucks? All right. Blade Blades of death. Blades of death. Oh! Look at this thing, it's sharp. I could probably cut this belt. Look at that. It'll cut right through that belt. That's how sharp that thing is. That'll be a wall hanger. Or I'll paint it green. I'll put it on eBay for $700. Two-lane blacktop fan. All right, the fan is off. But now let's just review a little. You'll see what I was talking about earlier. Now you see the brake lines right there. It's just the radiator we got out. We haven't even pulled the nose yet. But look at the easy access. I got to change all these lines. We're going to take the upper and lower control arms off. We're going to put disc brakes on this thing. And you see now, just with the removal of the radiator, how much closer and how much easier it is to do these lines. Once the nose is out of the way, it'll really be easy. We got to do a master cylinder. I got to take the heater box out too. I'm going to put a heater core in this thing so the heat and defrost will work. And all the electrical is going to be done on this car. It's going to be wired from headlight to taillight because this ain't me. Yeah. And with all electric, you bend it, the covering just shatters. So it's extremely dangerous. But it was changed to an alternator, this car, from a generator. So at one time it was updated. But we'll take it one step further with all new wiring. But like I said, look at those brake lines now. Easy to get to. They run on this side too. To the back, I'm going to change all the brake lines on this car. Just because, like I said, I want it safe. All right, so now let's get these fenders off. Okay, here's what I talked about earlier about just staying organized. This is a box of hefty quart bags. They're small ones, but we've already taken some bolts off and we're about to start on the fenders now. So that's different bolts, that's body bolts. And I want to get everything all mixed up. Just makes it easier. If you're going to reuse these bolts, it's great to know where they came from. So far, we took the radiator off, bag and a Sharpie. All right, so I'm going to put rad bolts and fan bolts. And just bag these things up because whether you use them or whether you don't use them, it's always great to know what they are and what they go to. A lot of times when you're doing builds or restorations, whatever it may be, hardware gets lost. And hardware is very expensive nowadays. And this whole stuff's really cool and you know it fits. So just, I could put more in there. I could keep writing, you know, but like I said, we're going to start taking the fenders off. Those are body bolts. So we'll put, you know, fender bolts, and I'll put all the fender bolts in a bag. So now when I go to put the new radiator in, if these bolts will work with the new one, I know exactly where they are. The fan bolts are fine thread too on most of the small block Chevy water pumps. So they're a little pain in the neck to find. But if I'm going to reuse these, I know right where they are. Okay, just a little tip to help you out. I'm not going to call it a pro tip because I'm not a pro. I'm just a guy that builds hot rods out of a garage. Okay, so let's start getting ready to take this fender off. Do yourself a favor. Before you take a fender off, two things. First off, you're going to look at the backs of these bolts. Make sure there's no nuts on anything. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning and spinning and spinning, and the thing's never going to come off. There may be scenarios where you got to get a wrench in there and zip it out. Most of the time with fenders, they're either going to use a pointy type bolt that goes into a like a cap screw catch, or a nut cert that's welded into like a inner body piece. Number two, look underneath with a flashlight before you start pulling stuff off cars, fenders, doors. Make sure there's no wasp nest. I speak from experience in junkyards taking stuff off. That's where they love to build their houses. So unless you want the surprise of your lifetime when you pull this thing off and you have 50 wasps in your face instantly, take a look underneath with a flashlight. Make sure there's nothing under there. If the car's been inside, outside, doesn't matter. They still like to nest in areas like that. So let's take a look now, and we'll start zipping some bolts off. Let's start with these. And I have my magnetic catch. These we're not going to spray. You can't really access the back, but see, it feels like this thing's spinning already. Now, sometimes with these, you got to put a little weight on the fender to get them to catch. All right, so that one came, but the washer stayed. All right, we can get that off later. All right, so break them loose first. That one came. These two on the top, I believe they'll stay. I'm going to take them out anyway, but I think that bolts the tab from the fender onto the fender, but we're going to take this big 9/16 out. This one is giving me an issue, but that's no biggie. Let's crack this one. Yep. All right, the radiator support's got a different size. I think it's a 7/16. Actually, that's a 1/2 inch. Okay. Let's try this one. Sometimes on the radiator supports, they do put nuts on the back of these, but let's see. We'll figure it out in a second. Nope. No nuts on that one. Now, if this was a car with good paint, you'd want to put a fender cover or something just to protect what you're leaning all over. Be aware of that too if you wear a belt buckle or you won the rodeo. All right, so this one, now this is the one that should have shims under it, but it might not. If somebody took this fender off at one time, never put them back, might not. Now with that one, I just felt a big thud, the weight of the fender coming off. Now let's see. Shims, none. So that means more than likely someone had this fender off at one time, because generally GM, everyone I've seen where they haven't been disrupted, there's usually even a small shim there just to perk the fender up a little bit. And now you can see through detective work, this bracket is bolted to the fender. You don't have to take these out because it's moving with it. All right, so now this one, it doesn't want to come, but let's try it again. Now that the fender's in a different spot, it may have put enough pull on it. Let's see. Yeah, what it could be is they have an insert that they screw into. Could be that that's spinning. Let me grab a screwdriver. We're going to pry out on that while I zap it, and that could be enough to back it out. Notice how I said, let me grab a screwdriver to pry on it, because screwdrivers are never to be used as chisels or pry bars. Let's try that. Nope. That baby's spinning. It's spinning and winning. But sometimes you got to work for it. Sometimes it's easy. Let's try that. Whoop. There we go. That did the trick, and my screwdriver is still in one piece. What the prying does is you're moving the head of the bolt out, which the piece that's spinning comes in against the inner fender, and it locks it in place long enough to get the bolt out. All right, so top half is loose. We got this lower pan too down here that ties the two fenders together. Okay, so we just got the top of the fender bolt out. This is the back bottom bolt. What you see is the rocker panels right here. Let me adjust this camera a little. And this bolt is on the back and it faces you. I already sprayed it. I already loosened it up. Now with this one, you're probably gonna get a whole bunch of dirt falling out, and there may be shims in this one, but I doubt it because there were no shims in the top. So I don't think they put them back in, but let's zip this. There it goes. All right, so that's a washer, not a shim. Looks like it's got a lock washer on it too. Somebody put on there. Lock washer and a washer. Now, how this works too, you'll see when I change this lower rocker out, there's an eyelet on the rocker that all gets shimmed into as well. So there you go. Now you'll see how fender's loose. See, here's the front of the rocker tab right here. That's the inner fender in there. All right, so we got the rear fender bolt out. Next, you have these bolts in the tubs. We're gonna start zipping those out. The bottom bolts, there should be 3. These, I believe, connect the pan to the inner wheel tub. There may be a bracket connected to the back of those. We're gonna zip them out regardless. Those 2 big boys go to a bracket. Over here, you have one in the front, and you have another one over there. All right, that one looks a little rusty. I sprayed it, letting it sit right now. Let's talk about rusty bolts for a quick second. Here's another tip. Socket choice. Let's see. That's a 12-point socket. That's a 6-point socket. When you're dealing with any rusty bolts, rusty nuts, always use a 6-point. 12-point sockets have a tendency to strip rusty stuff out. Want to make your life easy? Get yourself a good set of 6 points, or even better, you could use an impact socket in a 6-point version, and you'll get your bolts off a lot easier than with that 12-point. 12 points tend to chew bolts up. Don't use 12-point sockets, use 6 points. All right, let's dig into these. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, what the? All right, there's one. There's 2. There's 3. And then you got these 2 big boys up here. Nice. Okay, you just saw the wheel tub drop there, so that obviously means something came loose. That's a good thing, no? Oh, wait, look, we got one that's hiding. See, that's why you gotta always look up. See that one up there? Hiding on us. All right, let's get it. That's the one when you're tugging and you go, why won't this thing? That's why. All right. What else we got going on under here? We got that weird one. I don't know if that's holding anything. Let me get some light. That's at a weird spot, but way to go. Yeah, see that one there? Let's take that out, and then we're gonna take that out. All right, those 2. Okay. All right, so now on this next one, it looks like we got a nut and bolt it. Let's see what size we got. I think it's a 7/16. All right, where's my 7/16? 6-point, because we don't want to use a 12-point on that rusty nut for sure. Once you chew that thing up, then you got to cut it. That's it. No strip. Whoa! And just like that, the fender's off. I did not stage that, I swear. But it got the job done. Boy, that one little nut, huh? I couldn't do that again if I tried. There you go. Who said working on cars wasn't fun? Come on now. Okay, so there you have it. We've got one fender off the car. This fender is going to come off. I'm just going to do the same thing. Through the magic of TV, I'll zip it off. One small difference. I'm going to leave the top bolt in for last, so this one don't go flying off. At that point, this radiator shroud to come out easy. We'll switch over to that. I'll show you the 2 bolts that hold that in. The panel come off, and then we'll have the entire nose off the car. Whoa, 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 whoa. Forgot about the hood. I'm going to show you a quick way to get a hood off by yourself if you don't have a second person handy. So stay tuned. Okay, so there you have it. The other side fender through the magic of TV is off. It's basically the same thing we went through on that side. There's really nothing additional. Actually, no, I'm sorry. There was one bolt, if you see this clamp, let's say, on the heater hose lines that held it to the inner. So that one extra bolt's on the passenger side, and then you can lift it right out. The front pan, once you take these side bolts off over here, and actually it's the back one back here, because this car had the front lower pieces taken off on the bottom already when I got it, so it made my life a little easier. The fenders have a bolt here and the same spot on the other side. Once you take those 2 off, this just lifts up and out of the way. So let's put this over here. Now, the radiator support, we took the top pieces off, the side and that side. There is no inners. If there was inners, you'd have a few more bolts. Okay, and the bottom, you'll see the top, those 2 things right there. This is part of the chassis, and if you feel under here, the bolt should be coming through. But guess what? There is no bolts in this car. Somebody forgot to put those in. They may have been breaking it apart. So let's give it a try. Whoa, that was easy. Let's see. These cars are such a pleasure to work on. They come apart so simple. Now, when I first saw this thing, I thought it was a snake skin in there, but I don't know what somebody was doing. Maybe some fuel line wrap or something. These lift right out too. That's not snake skin. That's like a high temp wrap. That's not either. Okay. All right, and now look how nice everything is accessible. We got to get into this front suspension next and swap out these upper and lower control arms. We're putting coilover shocks in the front of this car, adjustable coilovers. Gonna change the fuel pump, change the headers. Really, really nice. All right, so now we got to get this hood off this car next. When it comes to taking off the hood, especially if you're by yourself, you got a couple ways you can do it. You can take the 2 hood bolts off here. That'll take the hood from the hinges. Or you could take the hinge bolts out of the cowl, which is the way I'd rather do it because I want the hinges off the cowl. Once I get the hood off the car, then I'll take the hinges off the hood because I got to do some body work to this hood. I got to mount the scoop on it. I got to do a bunch of things. So that's going to go on the sawhorses when it comes time to do the work on that. All right. So if you take a look, they just have those 2 outer bolts. But what I'll usually do is get a broom or something and prop it up in there. What I'm actually going to do is go get my bed piece out of my truck. I have one of those adjustable bed stops that holds the stuff in your bed. So bear with me a second. Let me go grab that thing. Okay, so I went out and I got my pickup truck bar. This is one of those ratchety thingies that you put in the bed of your truck. You can put it across to hold stuff in your bed. It's the one-man hood holder. If you're a guy like me, you don't have any friends, you learn to innovate. Because I drink alone. Yeah, with nobody else. Now, here's my way of thinking when doing this by yourself. If I take these 2 bolts out, the hood's going to want to slide down, hit the cowl. If I take these 2 bolts out, it's going to drop and hit the cowl. But this way, you got a lot more chance of it going through the windshield. So either I'm going to pull this off beautifully and look like a genius, or you're going to say, man, that guy's an idiot. Oh, it's coming. We'll pick those up later. I'm just going to loosen that. Let me take the top one out on this side. This way we don't drop that side and twist up these hinges. Oh man, this might be a really viral clip. All right, see? Now it's resting. My little holder here took a vacation, but that's okay. Bring it down a tick. Twist it a little there. Let's zap this out. There we go. It's out. You know, sometimes you just gotta do stuff by yourself. Oh. Pretty funny though, right? See, there's the bar I'm talking about. All right. There we go. Done. All right. Stay. It's not gonna stay. But anyway, I got to zip the hinges off it now. This way I could transport it over to my storage building. We did it. It wasn't pretty, but we did it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we got the hood off. We got the hinges off with the hood. I leaned the hood against the door. I zipped the hinges off the hood. Now you notice my shop, it's getting a little tight in here. There's the passenger side fender, the driver's side fender's on the other side of the car. The front pans, some splash pans, the hood, the hinges. Guys, you can't work like this. If you don't have enough room in your shop to store your parts, rent a storage unit, get a shed, put them out alongside of your house. Because when you're tripping over stuff, it's just no fun. I hate seeing shops that are just filled with garbage everywhere you look. So I'm going to go clean this stuff up now. And then when I come back, we're going to wrap it up. What our next steps are going to be on the 55 Chevy Hot Rod project. Be right back. All right, I'm getting all the stuff ready to take to my storage building, put it in the truck, and get it the heck out of here. But you know what? Just for the heck of it, I think I'm going to weigh these pieces. These inner fenders are not going back on the car. Each side consists of 3 pieces. Here's my postal scale. Let's see what we got. Lean it. Okay. Not too bad on that one. 4 pounds. But you can remember this is times 2. Here's your front splash pan. 3 pounds. So that's 7. Let's see. Here's the big boy. £10. So we got 17 pounds aside, so that's 34 pounds taken off the front of the car by not running these when we put it back, which I'm going to leave all this open. 2 ways to make a car faster. Add power, remove weight. It's the first step in removing weight. Not that we're building a drag car, but stuff you don't need, you don't need. All right, let's get all this stuff over to the storage unit. Oh yeah. Load it up and off to storage. All right, so there you have it. Listen, I want to thank you guys for coming along with me on this journey. Everything's all finished up for today. Just left the storage unit where I took all the front end sheet metal over to, stacked it all up nicely over there, get it out of the way. Like I was saying, see, it's nice when you can get around the car. I got all the bolts bagged and tagged, put my tools away, swept the floor. Next video, we're going to start dismantling everything we need to dismantle under the hood, or under where the hood used to be, I should say. So make sure to subscribe, like us, hit the bell for the notifications. We're going to try and put out as many videos as we can on this vehicle, help you learn as you go along. If you don't know, if you do know, just come with us for the ride. Be sure and check out our website, racecityretro.com. We got over 1,000 automotive related products on our website. And like I said, thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope you learned something. Please leave me some comments. I'm going to read every single one of them, but if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it. I'm always into constructive criticism. I always look to learn things different, better. I'd love to hear from you guys. And like I said, once again, thank you for coming along on this journey of getting this 55 Hot Rod back on the road. Sitting since 1971. Woo! But we'll get her done. We always do. And like I said, it's going to be quick. This car's going to be done in months, not years. All right. Thank you guys. Take care. God bless.